Where am I? Why are you doing this to me?
Thank you for coming to shepherd your son home, Mr. Pendleton. I know it's difficult losing a child.
With all due respect, I don't think you do. And like I already told you, there's been a mistake. I buried my son years ago.
I understand, Mr. Pendleton. We all deal with grief in our own way. Shall we? Now, if you'll just sign for your son's body, you can take him home.
No! This isn't my son! This thing's a monster, a murderer!
Yes, well, I suppose that runs in the family.
What the hell are you talking about?
Don't you know, child? Have you wandered so far off the path to not even realize who you are?
What the hell are you talking about?
So often the answers are before us, Murphy. If only we allow ourselves to see them.
Why are you doing this to me?
There were those who dwelt in darkness and in the shadow of death, prisoners in misery and chains, because they had rebelled against the word of God. When they cried out to the Lord in their trouble,
I screwed up,
He saved
but I didn't
them.
see any other
He
way.
brought them out of darkness.
You don't
and the
know what it
shadow
was
of
like
death,
to
and
know it
broke
was
their
my
bonds
fault he
apart.
was gone. Every
You who
time I
seek God,
shut
let
my
your heart
eyes,
revive.
I saw Charlie's
For the
face,
Lord
and
hates
all
the
I
needy
could
and
think
does not
was,
despise
that
his who
monster
are
is still
prisoners.
alive, but I'll never get to see
Amen.
my boy again. Why are you doing this to me? What do you want? What I did to Napier didn't solve anything. Charlie was still gone, and I was stuck in prison. Everything spiraled out of control. It was my fault. I just want my life back.
Revenge is a long, treacherous road, isn't it, Mr. Pendleton? Where do you suppose it ends? It's yours, if you want it. You only need to claim him as your own. You see? I knew you'd come around in the end. Welcome home, Mr. Pendleton. Glory be to God.
Charlie! Charlie! Hold on, I'm coming! Charlie! Charlie!
You killed him. You killed the Boogeyman.
Doesn't matter. It didn't bring you back. Nothing can bring you back.
It's not your fault.
I'm sorry.
Leave it up to a Silent Hill game to prove that the Boogeyman wasn't just something adults made up to keep their kids in line. But I don't think this is what they meant in the effort to get teeth brushed. It's not a good sign for any game's bosses when they start showing up after the halfway mark, and as we've seen through this series, and surprise surprise, the Boogeyman wasn't a fun set piece. Honestly, I knew this was going to happen with Silent Hill Downpour if it ever had bosses, because the combat in this game is somehow worse than the Konami quadrilogy, because at least with those games, the bosses knew the combat was terrible and would give you a damn break. But here, the Boogeyman is coming right for Murphy's head. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't get so sniffy with the Psycho Mantis ripoff over here, since his boss fight is everything that's wrong with the game itself, and I could use it as the perfect example. It has shitty combat. The Boogeyman's attacks give you no chance to dodge them, since the earthquake attack can change direction after the hammer hits the ground, and honestly, you can barely tell what the fuck you're supposed to be doing in it. How you beat the Boogeyman is you activate the fight and then hit the Boogeyman with enough damage that he kneels, which allows you to take his hammer and kill him with it. So already it's a bad boss because he goes down in 6 hits and then gets killed in a cutscene, but then his backstory makes it completely worse. After the fight ends, Murphy is transported back to St. Maria's and is shown that the Boogeyman is his son, and that would be fine as a twist ending, but then later we see that the Boogeyman's true identity keeps flitting endlessly between 2 different faces, so the game doesn't even give us the courtesy of a payoff for its 2-minute distraction. Of course you'll die 8 times before realizing how you were supposed to kill the Boogeyman, so Vatra ended up wasting an entire half hour. Man, what a shitty boss fight.